Justin and Elliot Cadeau pretty much act like all brothers do, spending time together laughing, playing video games, and practicing sports with Dad. But inside their house in West Orange, New Jersey, things are a little different. Meet Mom Michelle, born and raised in Sweden, and Dad James, born in Haiti and raised in Brooklyn. The two recognize their kids aren't the same as most children, but don't see a problem with that.
I always say that if you're monocultural, you're in a box. And it's hard for you to reach out of that box because it's the way you were, when you were little, you were taught, you were doing stuff. My kids are outside 3 boxes, and they might have a leg in here and an arm in here and another arm in here, but they are not in the box.
But a recent study puts mixed-race children like the Cadeaus in a box. The research shows they may face some tough times growing up. The study is called the Plight of Mixed-Race Adolescents, and was republished this August by 4 professors from some of America's most prestigious universities. Using an economic theory, the study produced a number of results that some found controversial. Those results? Mixed-race children grow up in households that are similar along many dimensions to those in which Black children grow up. Similar incomes, and the father is much less likely to be around than in white households. In terms of academic performance, mixed-race kids fall in between blacks and whites. There are some bad adolescent behaviors that whites do more than blacks, like drinking and smoking. And there are some bad adolescent behaviors that blacks do more than whites, watching TV, fighting, and getting sexually transmitted diseases. Mixed-race kids manage to be as bad as whites on the white behaviors and as bad as blacks on the black behaviors. Mixed-race kids act out in almost every way measured in the data set. Mixed-race children do have one advantage, however. They're more attractive on average. Those findings are unacceptable for someone like Jen Chow.
I feel uncomfortable with the tone of the research. I don't actually know what questions they asked, so maybe they did ask well-rounded questions, but I have a problem with it with the negative slant because there's a lot of positive that comes out of being mixed race, and I feel like that experience is not captured.
Chow is co-founder of a multi-ethnic organization named Swirl, Inc. While she isn't outright bashing the study, she wishes the results weren't so negative.
And in the short article that I read, the one positive thing is mixed race people are more beautiful. I don't even know what that actually means, and how do you judge beauty? And that was the one positive thing that was mentioned. So I just question the validity and wanting to see some more of the other side.
And Chow's not the only one bothered by the study. Passionate reaction popped up online almost instantly. Study, biracial children cuter, less well-behaved. Freakonomics, interracial sex makes us more beautiful. Freakonomics, the plight of mixed-race children equals depressingly bad study. Study says biracial children are more attractive and less well-behaved. But one of the authors, Stephen Levitt, doesn't understand why people are so upset. Levitt declined our request for an interview, but in a statement says, "Our objective was not to offend people, and I doubt that people who are offended actually read the paper. If they read it carefully, I suspect they would not be offended. I went to the data and reported what was there. Perhaps one reason people are offended is because the number of interracial couples has soared across the U.S. in recent decades. Statistics show that about 7% of the 59 million married couples in the United States are interracial. But that doesn't mean mixed-race marriages were always common, or accepted, or even legal. Something Michelle Cadeau isn't forgetting.
Only 40 years ago, we couldn't have been married. That was against the law in some states. That's only 40 years ago.
Everything changed for mixed-race couples in 1967, when Richard Loving and his wife Mildred won a landmark Supreme Court case repealing a nationwide law banning interracial marriage.
The state is ignoring a very important point which we cannot overemphasize, and that is the right of Richard and Mildred Loving to wake up in the morning or to go to sleep at night knowing that the sheriff will not be knocking on their door or shining a light in their face in the privacy of their bedroom for illicit cohabitation.
With their victory, the Lovings instantly became the poster couple for interracial marriage. But that was then, and this is now. What was once taboo is now more widespread, with interracial couples infiltrating several aspects of the mainstream media.
It's a perfect team.
Even sitcoms have embraced the once controversial issue.
Long day?
Yeah, I just worked a triple shift.
I hear you, sister.
Sister.
Yeah, it's okay. My boyfriend's black. Here he is, see?
Hi, Lynn. He's black?
Yeah.
I'm black?
Aren't you?
I'll give you a couple minutes to decide.
Then he walked me home. It started to rain. It was like a movie. It was a perfect evening.
And now you're breaking up with him.
Now I'm breaking up with him.
What happened? I mean, you know, yesterday you were adding milk to your mochaccino to show me what pretty colors your kids would be.
Everyday people we spoke with believe interracial dating, marriage, and children pose no problem.
Well, I've never done it, but I wouldn't be against it.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
But if I were to fall in love with someone of another race, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
It doesn't matter if you're black, white, green, blue, whatever you are.
I wouldn't mind at all. Personality is what matters to me.
Although popular culture seems to accept mixed-race people, critics say that studies like these that emphasize their plight actually work against greater acceptance.
This is not the first study that has sort of looked at this. I've seen other things quickly over the years that, you know, talk about similar things where mixed-race kids are getting into trouble. So I think it's a common storyline, and I think that a lot of people feel like there's more to it that we're not seeing. And again, I really think it's important not to paint a picture of kids, you know, that this is sort of the kids' fault.
But Michelle Cadeau said she doesn't need a study to predict how her children will turn out. After all, she says, they're in good company.
We always point out to our kids if a person of, you know, interest or somebody famous is mixed. We always do, because we think it's important for them to understand that you know, everybody needs role models.
From the president-elect,
this is our moment,
to athletes like James Blake and Tiger Woods, to music superstars like Mariah Carey, and reality TV champions like Jordan Sparks. Finding mixed-race role models today isn't hard. That's good news for Jen Chow, who says the nation's new president will help make the topic of mixed-race people more prevalent.
The fact is, in this country, when we have really, you know, visible in the spotlight mixed-race people, their identities are always up for debate, and they're always up for scrutiny, and that to me is a problem. But I think because we're still not completely understanding this experience, that's what will happen. People will pick it apart, and I think that it's not always done, you know, in malicious ways. People are just trying to figure it out and make sense of it. The fact is, it doesn't make sense to people, a lot of people. So I hope that his mere presence will continue the momentum in having this be a better understood thing, and I think he'll definitely help it. You know, he's very comfortable talking about race, and he offers information up all the time, and, you know, speaks with ease. So I think that it will improve. And
although a multiracial president will help alter perceptions, Michelle Cadeau believes children like her own, who identify strongly with more than one race, will have a greater impact.
It's just, that's the way I feel. That's the way the world has to go. If we had more mixed kids, I think eventually we could get, you know, have peace on earth.